Welcome to World Information HD, your window into the most fascinating stories behind everyday objects, from historical curiosities to mind-blowing collectibles. Today we're turning our spotlight on a coin you might find in loose change but could also hide a fortune: the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Yes, that simple 1-cent piece minted between 1909 and 1958 in the United States. While most are worth just a cent or a few dollars, a handful of them, thanks to minting errors, ultra-low production runs, or rare dye varieties, have fetched millions of dollars at auction. Coin Identifier +1 in this video will reveal the top 5 most valuable rare Lincoln Wheat pennies, show you what makes them so special, how to spot potential treasures in your own collection, and dive into the stories behind these extraordinary coins. So grab your magnifying glass, check your piggy bank, you might just have a hidden gem. Let's get started. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most beloved and collectible coins in American history, the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny, specifically the one with no mint mark. For coin collectors, enthusiasts, and history lovers alike, this penny is not just a piece of metal, it's a tangible connection to a time over 80 years ago, an era that shaped the modern United States. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, as many of you know, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design itself was revolutionary for its time. On the obverse, we see the familiar and dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's intricate detailing captures Lincoln's wisdom, perseverance, and stoic character. On the reverse, the coin displays 2 stalks of wheat flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America. This iconic wheat design would remain on pennies until 1958 and has become a symbol of American numismatic history. Now, let's focus on the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark. The absence of a mint mark tells collectors that this penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest and largest mint in the United States. Philadelphia has been responsible for producing countless coins over the centuries, and in 1941, it struck millions of Lincoln pennies for circulation. But despite the high mintage numbers, certain coins from this year, especially those in exceptional condition or with unique characteristics, have become highly sought after among collectors. The year 1941 holds historical significance. The United States was on the brink of entering World War II, with the country soon to join the global conflict after the attack on Pearl Harbor in December. Coins from this era are more than currency. They are a piece of history, a reminder of the resilience and spirit of the nation during uncertain times. The 1941 no mint mark penny is no exception. Every scratch, every toning, and every minor imperfection on these coins tells a story of an America preparing for war, yet still thriving and growing economically. Collectors often pay close attention to the condition of these pennies. The condition, or grade, is paramount in determining the coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with several levels in between, including good, very good, fine, very fine, extremely fine, and about uncirculated. A 1941 no mint mark penny in average circulated condition might fetch a modest amount, appealing primarily to casual collectors who want a piece of history without breaking the bank. However, a coin in pristine condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear, can be a true treasure, commanding significant sums in auctions and private sales. Another factor that makes the 1941 no mint mark penny so intriguing to collectors is the possibility of errors. Error coins are coins that were minted incorrectly due to various factors during production, such as misstrikes, doubled dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws. These imperfections, though unintended, increase the coin's rarity and value considerably. Some collectors actively seek out these anomalies, knowing that even a minor mistake can transform an ordinary penny into a rare collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny is composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a warm, rich tone that develops a beautiful patina over the decades. The color variations in copper coins can be stunning, ranging from a deep chocolate brown to a lighter reddish-orange, sometimes even with subtle hints of purple or green. This natural aging process, known as toning, can make each coin unique, adding to its aesthetic appeal and collectible value. Many collectors also look at the sharpness of the coin's details, particularly Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat lines, as well as the wheat stalks on the reverse. The sharper these details, the higher the coin's grade and desirability. Coins with minimal wear, no scratches, and perfect luster are considered exceptional and are often the centerpiece of a collection. Now, you might be wondering about the current market value of a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. While prices can vary depending on the coin's grade, rarity, and condition, one thing is clear: this penny is highly collectible. It is not just an ordinary penny you might find in circulation today. Serious numismatists know that these coins are part of the rich tapestry of American history, and they are willing to invest significant sums to secure them. For the discerning collector, owning a 1941 no-mint mark penny in excellent condition is like holding a small but priceless piece of the past. For example, coins that have been professionally graded and certified by organizations like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their state of preservation. Mint state coins, particularly those graded MS-65 or higher, are extremely rare for this year and can fetch impressive prices at auctions. The combination of historical significance, limited availability in high grades, and collector demand drives the value of these pennies ever higher. Collectors also enjoy tracing the provenance of these coins. Knowing that a particular penny has been part of a prestigious collection or has been preserved in remarkable condition over decades adds a layer of intrigue and excitement. Some collectors even seek out coins that have been stored in original rolls from the Philadelphia Mint, untouched for decades, providing a glimpse into how pennies were handled and circulated in the early 1940s. It's fascinating to think about the journey of a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. Imagine it starting in the Philadelphia Mint, fresh from the coining press, and then making its way into the hands of an American family. Perhaps it was tucked into a child's piggy bank, or maybe it passed through countless transactions at grocery stores, train stations, and cafes. Each penny carries the subtle marks of its history, a silent witness to the lives it touched, the economy it fueled, and the era it represents. The appeal of the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny is not just in its monetary value but also in its storytelling power. Collectors love to connect with history through tangible objects, and coins provide an accessible way to do so. They are small, portable, and durable, yet they hold immense historical and cultural significance. The Lincoln wheat penny, with its iconic design and century-spanning legacy, is one of the most enduring symbols of American numismatics. If you are considering adding a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny to your collection, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, pay attention to the coin's condition. Even subtle differences in wear can dramatically affect the value. Second, consider getting the coin professionally graded if it appears to be in exceptional condition. Third, educate yourself about common errors and varieties, as these can sometimes unlock hidden value. And finally, buy from reputable dealers or auctions to ensure authenticity and fair pricing. It's also worth noting that coins like the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny often serve as entry points for new collectors. They are accessible enough to purchase and learn about, yet they offer a gateway into the complex and rewarding world of numismatics. Collectors often start with a single penny, only to find themselves captivated by the history, artistry, and science of coin collecting. Over time, what begins as a casual interest can grow into a lifelong passion. In conclusion, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark is much more than a simple 1-cent coin. It is a historical artifact, a work of art, and a collector's treasure. Its design, composition, and historical context make it an iconic piece of American numismatic history. Welcome to World Information HD, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding right in your pocket change. Today's story takes us deep into the world of American coinage, where a simple, ordinary-looking penny could be worth more than a luxury car. We're talking about the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that might look old and worn, but can actually fetch thousands of dollars if you know what to look for. So, before you toss that handful of coins aside, stay tuned, because you might be sitting on a rare gem that's been quietly waiting to make you rich. The year 1956 was an interesting time in American history. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley was topping the charts, and Lincoln wheat pennies were still being produced by the millions. Yet, among those millions, a few stand out, coins that collectors crave, hunt for, and pay huge sums of money to own. The 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is one of those coins. Now, what exactly does no-mint mark mean? To most people, it's just a small detail they've never noticed, but to collectors, it means everything. When a coin has no mint mark, it means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the original and oldest mint facility in the United States. Most coins from Philadelphia carry no identifying letter beneath the date. That might sound ordinary, but what makes the 1956 version so special is not just its mint origin, it's the rare variations, minting errors, and unique conditions that make certain pieces extremely valuable. Let's rewind a bit to understand what makes Lincoln wheat pennies, in general, so beloved. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, this penny replaced the Indian head cent designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse, or front, of the coin features Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse displays two stalks of wheat encircling the words 1 cent. This simple but elegant design symbolized prosperity, growth, and unity, ideals America deeply valued at the time. The wheat design continued until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. That means the 1956 wheat penny was part of the final chapter of a nearly 50-year legacy, a design collectors call the end of an era. But let's dive deeper into what makes some of these 1956 pennies worth so much. While billions of Lincoln cents were minted that year, a small number left the factory with tiny flaws that turned them into treasures. For example, double-die obverse errors, where the lettering or date appears to be struck twice, can make a 1956 penny worth far more than its face value. Some rare examples even display visible doubling in the words, Liberty, or In God We Trust, details that collectors go wild for. Another fascinating variety is the BIE error, one of the most common but still highly collectible mistakes found in late wheat pennies. This occurs when a small die break appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, forming what looks like an extra I. It's a small imperfection, but in the numismatic world, small things mean big money. The BIE error gives a coin personality, a distinct fingerprint, and turns it into something truly one of a kind. Condition, of course, plays a massive role in determining the value of a coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. A 1956 penny that's been handled, scratched, or corroded over time might only be worth a few cents. But a coin that has remained uncirculated, meaning it's as crisp and bright as the day it was minted, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors refer to these top-tier coins as mint state, or MS. Examples: and grading services like PCGS or NGC use a numerical scale from 1 to 70 to measure a coin's condition. If you're lucky enough to find a 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny graded MS67 or MS68, you're sitting on a highly desirable collector's item. The sharpness of the design, the shine of the luster, and the absence of scratches all add to the visual appeal and ultimately, the price tag. Some even display a brilliant red or reddish-orange tone, known as red RD in coin terminology, while others have slightly faded to red-brown RB or brown BN. A full red, uncirculated example is by far the most valuable type you can find. What makes this coin even more intriguing is how it tells the story of America's minting evolution. In 1956, the United States Mint was at the peak of wheat penny production, churning out over 420 million coins from the Philadelphia Mint alone. Yet, even with such massive production, subtle differences in die wear, pressure, and metal composition led to hundreds of unique varieties. Each tiny variation becomes a mystery, a clue for coin enthusiasts to investigate. One of the best parts about coin collecting is that anyone can get involved. You don't have to be a millionaire to start, all it takes is curiosity and a sharp eye. Many people have discovered valuable wheat pennies in old jars, coin rolls from the bank, or even in change from the grocery store. That's the beauty of these coins. They're a part of everyday life, yet some hold extraordinary secrets. The story of the 1956 penny also represents the enduring power of Lincoln's image in American history. For decades, the Lincoln cent has remained one of the most iconic and longest-running coin designs in the world. Its endurance reflects America's respect for Abraham Lincoln's legacy, honesty, unity, and perseverance. And perhaps that's why collectors feel such a deep emotional connection to these small copper coins. Speaking of copper, it's worth noting that the 1956 penny was still made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gives the coin a distinctive reddish hue and solid weight compared to modern pennies, which are primarily zinc with a thin copper coating. Because copper is a valuable metal, even the melt value of older wheat pennies is higher than their face value. But of course, collectors never melt them down because their historical worth is far greater. Let's imagine this scenario for a moment. You find an old coffee can in your attic filled with pennies your grandparents saved. As you pour them out, you notice one that looks a bit different. The date reads 1956, and there's no mint mark under it. You grab a magnifying glass and see the details are still sharp. The color is bright, almost glowing red. Could it be? Could this be one of the rare high-grade 1956 no mint mark wheat pennies that coin experts talk about? You send it to be graded, and a few weeks later, the results come back, MS67 red, near perfection. The coin has full luster, no visible scratches, and beautiful toning. Suddenly, that small copper coin in your hand turns into something extraordinary. Collectors start offering thousands of dollars for it. You realize you've uncovered a piece of American history that has survived for nearly 70 years, untouched, uncirculated, and perfectly preserved. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every coin tells a story, where it's been, who's held it, and what it has survived through the years. The 1956 penny might have passed through the hands of a post-war veteran, a 1950s diner waitress, or a young child saving for their first bicycle. Every scratch, every shine, every curve of the design carries the echoes of its time. When you hold a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny, you're holding more than copper, you're holding a moment in history. You're touching a connection to a time when coins were crafted with precision and pride, when each cent mattered, and when the humble penny symbolized the value of hard work and honesty. So, the next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. That tiny coin might not just be worth 1 cent. It might be your ticket to something much greater. Look for those sharp details, clear lettering, strong color, and clean surfaces. Check the Liberty and In God We Trust for doubling, and don't forget to inspect the coin under good light. You never know when you might spot a rare variation or an uncirculated gem hiding in plain sight. Collectors and enthusiasts around the world continue to chase these small pieces of history, knowing that even among the most common coins, there can be extraordinary finds. The thrill of discovery never fades, and the 1956 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny remains one of the most exciting finds out there. Because somewhere out there, one of these little copper coins, minted nearly 7 decades ago, has been preserved in stunning perfection, waiting for someone like you to notice it, appreciate it, and realize its hidden value. And when that moment happens, when history and luck collide, you might just discover that your 1-cent treasure is worth far more than you ever imagined. The highest recorded sale for a 1956 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny reached an astonishing $46,387. Welcome to World Information HD, the place where history, money, and mystery meet. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprisingly valuable coins in American history, the 1942 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. It's small, it's brown, and it's something you might easily overlook in your loose change. But what if I told you that this little copper cent could be worth thousands of dollars? That's right, what looks like a simple old penny from your grandfather's collection could actually be a treasure hiding in plain sight. The year 1942 was a pivotal time in American history. The world was at war, and every part of the U.S. economy was focused on the war effort. Steel, copper, tin, every resource mattered. Even coins became a part of that wartime struggle. Before the steel pennies of 1943 came into circulation, the United States Mint struck millions of copper wheat pennies in 1942. These coins carried the classic design by Victor David Brenner, the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and unity. But hidden within these ordinary coins are subtle variations, die errors, and minting anomalies that make certain 1942 wheat pennies incredibly rare and extremely valuable to collectors today. Now, you might be wondering, what makes a 1942 no-mint mark penny so special? Well, the answer lies in the details. Coins without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use mint marks during that era. Because Philadelphia produced the largest number of coins, you'd expect these to be common. And in general, yes, millions of 1942 pennies were produced. However, within that massive production run, there were certain batches and die strikes that turned out differently. Small imperfections, faint double strikes, and even slight misalignments during minting gave rise to rare variations, and those are the ones collectors hunt for. When you hold a 1942 penny in your hand, take a closer look at the edges and the lettering. A genuine high-quality 1942 Philadelphia Lincoln cent will have crisp details on Lincoln's coat, visible lines in his hair, and clean, even lettering that reads, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" on the left. But what truly makes this coin shine for collectors is its condition, often referred to as grade. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS-70. A typical 1942 penny found in circulation might grade around very fine or extremely fine. But those rare examples that have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, with a sharp shine, no scratches, and original mint luster, are the ones that command jaw-dropping prices at auctions. The most sought-after versions of this coin are those that show a double die error on the obverse, where the inscriptions like "Liberty" or the date 1942 appears slightly doubled under magnification. This doubling happened when the coin die struck the planchet, the blank coin, twice, slightly misaligned. These rare double die varieties are among the most collectible and valuable examples. In fact, experienced numismatists can spot such variations from the faintest signs of doubling or extra thickness in the lettering. Now, let's talk about the history and how it influences the value. During 1942, the U.S. Mint was already planning to shift its materials away from copper for wartime production. Copper was vital for ammunition and electrical wiring during World War II. So, the 1942 cents were among the last full copper coins before the dramatic change to steel in 1943. That historical connection, being the last of an era before the wartime penny, adds tremendous appeal to collectors who treasure coins with deep historical context. Another interesting point about the 1942 penny is the sheer variety of toning and color you can find. Because copper reacts over time, these coins can appear in shades ranging from bright red-orange to dark brown, or even rainbow-like hues. The more original red luster a coin retains, the more valuable it tends to be. Collectors refer to these color designations as red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. A full red 1942 penny in uncirculated condition is a rare sight, and those are the ones that bring in serious money. You might be asking, how do collectors determine if their coin is special? Well, experts recommend examining the coin under a magnifying glass, paying close attention to key details: the date, the mint mark area, which should be blank for this version, and the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait. Look for clean rims and no signs of wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline. If you find one that still has that beautiful reddish tone and no signs of circulation, you could be holding something extraordinary. Over the years, collectors and investors have become fascinated by wheat pennies because they represent more than just small change. They tell stories of a country at war, of resource conservation, and of the millions of hands these coins pass through. Each penny carries a piece of American history. And when it comes to the 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, the story becomes even more compelling because it bridges two distinct eras: the copper years and the wartime steel years. Some 1942 pennies also have fascinating minting errors that boost their worth tremendously. Examples include off-center strikes, lamination errors, and even die cracks, where visible raised lines appear on the coin's surface due to die fatigue. These unique imperfections turn ordinary coins into prized collectibles. An off-center 1942 cent, depending on the degree of misalignment, can sell for hundreds of dollars. But when these rare features appear on high-grade examples, the value skyrockets. Auction houses have reported eye-opening sales for 1942 pennies that look deceptively ordinary at first glance. Collectors with sharp eyes and the patience to sift through rolls of wheat pennies from old collections or estate sales have occasionally struck gold, or rather, struck copper worth gold. Some found coins graded MS-67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, fetching thousands of dollars. One story often told among collectors is about a coin enthusiast who inherited his grandfather's coin jar, a mix of common pennies, nickels, and dimes saved over decades. Inside, he discovered a 1942 no-mint mark penny with flawless surfaces and a deep red luster. After professional grading and verification, the coin sold for a remarkable sum at auction, turning an old jar of change into a life-changing discovery. So, what should you do if you have a 1942 penny? The first step is simple: handle it carefully. Avoid cleaning it. Cleaning old coins can reduce their value drastically. Instead, use cotton gloves or hold it by the edges. Check if the coin has sharp details, a smooth surface, and that classic wheat design on the back, with 1 cent and United States of America encircled by the 2 wheat stalks. If it still shines and shows minimal signs of wear, it's worth having it appraised by a professional coin grading service. Collectors cherish these coins for their artistry, their history, and their rarity. They represent a time when even a single cent carried meaning, craftsmanship, and purpose. Every small detail on this coin, from the curvature of Lincoln's profile to the elegant wheat ears, reminds us of America's enduring resilience during one of the world's darkest times. So, next time you find an old wheat penny in your drawer, take a closer look. It could be a 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a piece of history that's far more valuable than it seems. You might just be holding a collector's dream coin that connects you directly to a chapter of America's past. Remember, in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and history are everything. A penny from 1942 might not look like much at first glance, but when preserved perfectly, it can stand as a timeless artifact worth far more than face value. It's a coin that survived wars, generations, and time itself, and if you're lucky enough to find that flawless example, the one that gleams with untouched luster, free of scratches and full of history, then you could be holding one of the most valuable pennies ever minted. Because the highest recorded auction price for a 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny reached an incredible $55,398.